gosh, look at the crowd.
Come this way.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Welcome to Lmd Newsweek.
I'm Sandesh Bartlett.
And I'm Ashwini Vethakan. We begin with a look at the COVID-19 situation in the island.
As of this week, the total number of COVID-19 infected patients in the island stands at 46,780, with the total number of recoveries reaching 39,661, and the total number of deaths now stand at 222.
Tests for COVID-19, including PCR, will now be carried out on those who fail to wear face masks. Around 300 lawbreakers were subjected to such tests, of which 2 tested positive for the virus on Tuesday, according to the police. Meanwhile, a total of 248 Sri Lankans were repatriated to the country earlier this week, whereas 513 Sri Lankans have left the island aboard 19 flights.
Cabinet approval has been granted to sign an agreement with the manufacturer when allocating vaccines through the COVAX facility. COVAX is a global initiative that brings together governments and manufacturers to ensure equal distribution among countries. The production and development of vaccines for COVID-19 are being accelerated to reach every country in the world through this facility.
And finally, the Health Ministry has decided on a priority list of recipients for the coronavirus vaccine that consists of vulnerable groups. Among the recipients identified are people above 60 years of age, frontline workers, and others. A consultant epidemiologist of the Health Ministry said the first set of vaccine recipients will depend on the vaccine brand. Sri Lanka is to administer vaccines to 20% of the population. And now for a public service announcement for our viewers. Should you need assistance with regards to your health, please contact the Suaseria 24-hour health hotline on 1999. 1999.
And now for a roundup of local news. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar undertook an official visit to Sri Lanka this month at the invitation of the Foreign Ministry, marking the first arrival of a high-level foreign dignitary to Sri Lanka in 2021. During his visit, Minister Jaishankar was scheduled to have bilateral meetings with the President, Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Sri Lanka. Further to the discussions which took place, Sri Lanka has announced its interest in procuring the vaccine for COVID-19 from India.
On Tuesday, it was announced that all Sri Lankan airports would begin operations for tourists from 12th January under strict health guidelines after a near 10-month layoff.
Earlier this week, the Department of Meteorology stated that the average annual rainfall dropped in 16 districts in Sri Lanka as of end December 2020. However, showers or thunder showers exceeding 100 millimeters will occur in a few areas in the country as a result of active cloudiness that is prevailing in the eastern, southeastern and Uva provinces of Sri Lanka.
Meanwhile, limestone mining within a 100-meter radius from the Victoria Dam has been suspended. The decision comes in the wake of several tremors experienced in the area last year and is based on the recommendations of an expert committee that investigated the tremors.
And finally, a body of yet another fishing cat was found in a tea estate in Hatton. Police suspect that the fishing cat must have rushed into the tea estate after freeing itself from a snare.
In business news, in a deviation from the practice of issuing dollar-denominated Sri Lankan development bonds at floating rates linked to the London interbank offered rate, the central bank this week announced that it would henceforth start issuing fixed-rate bonds in currencies other than the US dollar.
The unemployment rate in Sri Lanka reached a high of 5.8% towards the end of the third quarter of 2020, even though the economy showed a quick rebound of 1.5% growth in the same quarter.
Net borrowings by the state for the banking sector, including the central bank, fell to Rs 99 billion in November from Rs 281 billion in October. The central bank printed new money worth about 123.1 billion rupees between 30th September and October 2nd to partly finance the billion-dollar sovereign bond settlement.
The Cabinet has approved new guaranteed prices of paddy for the current 2020-2021 Maha season. Starting from the second week of January, the Paddy Marketing Board has made arrangements to purchase paddy at guaranteed prices with the aim of minimizing the unexpected fall in paddy prices. Moving on to global news. The total number of COVID-19 cases has surpassed 86 million, with the recovered number being a little over 61 million.
Bitcoin traded above $35,000 for the first time in Asia on Wednesday, rising to a high of $35,879 and extending a rally that has seen the digital currency rise more than 800% since mid-March.
The oil market has been volatile and prices have hit an 11-month high after Saudi Arabia, the world's biggest oil producer, agreed to reduce output more than expected in a meeting with the OPEC oil cartel and other major producers.
Meanwhile, in France, tire maker Michelin said on Wednesday it would slash up to 2,300 jobs over 3 years as part of a new simplification and competitiveness plan in France, adding that this would not involve layoffs or plant closures.
In other news, America signed an executive order banning transactions with 8 Chinese apps, including Ant Group's Alipay. However, it's not clear how effective this order will be.
Travellers to the UK from abroad could soon be required to prove that they have had a negative coronavirus test. The country's Department for Transport said the measure is one of several being considered to prevent the spread of COVID-19 across the UK border.
And finally, in the world of sports, England all-rounder Moeen Ali has tested positive for COVID-19 a second time. According to sources, the second PCR tests were conducted for all players and support staff, and the result of Ali's test was adverse, while all other players were negative.
South Africa completed a sweep of their Test match series against Sri Lanka as they strolled to a 10-wicket win in their second test. South Africa knocked off a target of 67 runs without loss as openers Dean Elgar and Aiden Markram saw them to victory at the Wanderers Stadium with 2.5 days of the contest still remaining.
New Zealand rose to the top of the World Test rankings after they thrashed Pakistan in the second test to win the series. Pakistan, resuming on 8 for 1, were dismissed for 186 on the 4th day, with Kyle Jamieson taking 6 for 48. Pace bowler Jamieson, playing in just his 6th test, finished with 11 wickets in Christchurch and was the series' leading wicket taker with 16. It is the first time New Zealand have topped the test rankings.
Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal will head the field at next month's ATP Cup, which has been reduced to 12 countries because of the coronavirus pandemic. World number 1 Djokovic leads Serbia as they look to defend the title between 1st and 5th February in Melbourne. Nadal, ranked 2nd, represents a Spanish side aiming to avenge their defeat by Serbia in last year's final.
That's all the news we have here this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching.
And stay safe.